Hello, this is Catherine Burt, and on Friday, January 6th, I gave a short lecture for the members program at the Providence Art Club on the Providence days of Charles Walter Stetson. The Providence Art Club has an exhibit of Stetson's work on view until the end of January 2012. Charles Walter Stetson, 1858 to 1911, has seduced many of us over the years with his poetic paintings, his heart-wrenching diaries, and his triumphs in the late 19th century art world. I want to briefly explore why Stetson dominated the Providence Art Club and our capital city during his early career. The journey of Stetson's life and career are sprinkled across many sources, but were brought to the attention of a wider public audience in 1982 by Charles Eldridge with the publication of his Stetson exhibit catalog, Color and Fantasy. Dr. Eldridge had a chance encounter with a portfolio of Stetson etchings in a Providence antique shop in 1973 and joined the ranks of Stetson devotees organizing the insightful 1982 exhibit and catalog. Soon, literary scholars of Charlotte Perkins Gilman joined in the research of the rejected first husband, Charles Walter Stetson, resulting in a number of publications, including the 1985 Mary Hill book, Endure, The Diaries of Charles Walter Stetson. These publications and the continuing research by scholars give us great resources to delve into the life of Stetson. So let's talk about Charles Walter Stetson and why for many of us he still rules the Providence art scene in 2012. Historians squirm with delight over mention of the industrial powerhouse years of Providence post-Civil War. In the Queen City, clever millmen and manufacturers controlled such companies as Brown and Sharp, Nicholson File, Providence Steam Engine, American Screw, Wanscott Mills, and Gore and Silver. However, this enormous wealth, the largest per capita income in the United States by the turn of the century, did not signal cultural refinement. Charles Eldridge noted in his catalog that Providence, although financially prosperous and socially prominent, lacked the long tradition of art making and art collecting, which characterized Boston and few other New England cities. It seems that our millmen and manufacturers were rather nouveau riche, and despite their great business acumen and ability to make tons of money, they failed to organize any cultural institutions, no museums or art schools. Providence was a cultural wasteland. These same industrial giants tried to establish a design school in 1850 and failed. It took the Rhode Island Women's Centennial Committee, with a leftover treasury of $1,675, to establish our very successful Rhode Island School of Design, and it took a coterie of ragtag artists to start the Providence Art Club. In 1876, at the age of 20, Stetson decided to become an artist. The same year that his colleague Edward Bannister, at age 48, became the first African American to win an art medal, the bronze medal from the Philadelphia 1876 Centennial Celebration. Then, within 2 years, imagine a 22-year-old self-proclaimed artist, Stetson, an African-American, Bannister, age 50, an earnest George Whitaker, fresh from European study, age 38 years, and an eccentric Yankee, bachelor, age 41, instigating in 1878 the groundwork for an art club to foster cultural development in Providence. Not only did they help form the club, finalized in 1880, they, like all good artists and creative spirits, took the capital city with abandon, organizing exhibits, lectures, and bantering with the press to join in their crusade. And there, right in the middle of this cultural tornado, was Charles Walter Stetson. When Stetson established himself as an artist and helped found the Providence Art Club, he became a force in the Providence art world. And while he lived in Providence as a professional artist for only about 14 years, he was here just long enough to demonstrate his remarkable talent to energize and set very high artistic standards. As a very disciplined and well-read artist, Stetson pushed Providence society to recognize its deficiencies in the cultural arena. Not only was the city lacking in cultural institutions, very few of its citizens had a clue about good art. In his diaries and in the newspaper, he harshly argued, quote, For a long time, our city has borne the reputation of being void of art love and art feeling. Neighbor Boston, so eminently aesthetic in all things, loves to sneer at our puerile and benighted civilization that has allowed artists to live on the confines of starvation. End of quote. Right out of the starting gate, we see Stetson not only scolding citizens for their past neglect of the arts, but putting them on notice that there is a new cultural order coming to this town with the formation of the Providence Art Club. Furthermore, Providence Journal readers were treated to 9 provocative articles on Stetson's art thoughts and critiques of fellow artists with the opening of the Spring Providence Art Club exhibition at the Hoppen Homestead Building in 1880. Not only did Stetson challenge the scions of Providence society, he likewise demanded that his fellow artists not wallow in the parochial, but meet the national standards and stay current with the latest art thoughts. He was relentless about setting the bar very high, but at times brutal. Here is a sampling of one of Stetson's critiques from the first 1880 Providence Art Club art exhibition. This caused quite a stir. Quote, "Let us begin our notes with the fruit of E.C. Levitt. The painting of still life is the lowest form of art. His aim seems to be to present as truthfully and literally as possible a perfect specimen. If Levitt could but get into the ecstasy of imagination, what lovely things his power of brush would enable him to gain." End of quote. It goes unsaid that the very accomplished and successful E.C. Levitt was furious with Stetson, and this review sparked not only a lifetime of sparring between the two temperamental souls, but a very public battle. The Providence Journal's competitor, the Evening Telegram, set loose its art critic, Mr. Vail. Vail challenged Stetson's series of 1880 short critiques. Quote, "I think that most of the criticisms are uncalled for. For instance, in criticizing the fruit pictures, he seems to be disposed to find fault with the artist whose work has made himself a place in that line of work. But this poetic dreamer, Stetson, is not satisfied with the handiwork of the creator, but wants to infuse more poetry, more idealism, and the representation of what is beautiful in nature." And so begins the legacy of Charles Walter Stetson with the first exhibition of the Providence Art Club. The young art critic has no tolerance for slacking off.